Some things in life cost little, and some things in life cost a lot. But everybody's got a price. The wise words of the $1,000,000 Man. Everybody has got a price. On tonight's episode of Dark Side of the All Elite Zone, we are doing a deep dive into the DiBiase family. How did wrestling royalty, ironically, have one of the biggest money laundering scams in professional wrestling?
It's me. It's Dusty. AZ, the Beast. I'm here, up north, talking $1,000,000 Man Ted DiBiase. I just want to say anytime I think of Ted, I immediately go to the Mid-South territory, the JYD, and then you look towards the Rat Pack stuff. All creative, great in ring. What did you think, Lee?
Everybody got a price.
After a legendary WWF Hall of Fame career, Ted DiBiase would step down, and his son, in 2008, would make his WWE debut on the main roster. He would forge his own legacy, filling his shoes that his father had left, and join up with multi-generational superstars like Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. How did the $1,000,000 Man's son carve his own legacy? Did he fill the shoes that his father once wore?
Wow, the legacy storyline, that was pretty cool, actually. Watching as a fan, you have three, you have three second, third generation superstars in one group, and the origins of the group is pretty cool. You have Hardcore Holly and Cody, together as a tag team. They won the tag team titles, and of course, you remember how Ted basically came and was like, "Hey, I got a mystery partner here, and we're gonna win the tag team titles." And the swerve was so cool the way they did it. I gotta say, it was pretty badass. And them winning the tag team championships at Night of Champions was pretty cool. And at the same time, Randy Orton was he's pretty much done it all in the WWE. He's pretty much been there and done that. The only thing he wasn't able to do or didn't do beforehand was run his own faction. And I think that's where he set his sights on Priceless, who were Cody and Ted. And I think, they had so many different characters go through this whole storyline. You had Manu or Deuce, who was Tim Snuka, the son of the late Jimmy the Superfly. You had the whole McMahon family. You had Dusty Rhodes. You had Batista, Triple H. So many people, so many characters ran through this one storyline. And to me personally, I thought it was probably one of the coolest storylines they were telling at the time was the legacy storyline. It was great. In like the final, I guess you can say the final or the definitive group would be, Ted DiBiase Jr., Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. Of course, we already know that Cody's father was Dusty. We already know that, of course. Ted DiBiase Jr.'s father was the $1,000,000 Man, and Randy's father was Cowboy Bob Orton. And just to see that storyline put together and the way they did it, it operated so many different characters and so many different blends of different things in the stories, in the subplots and stuff like that went along with it. It was awesome. To me, it stands probably one of the coolest storylines I've ever seen WWE put on. But that's my opinion.
After the split of Legacy, Ted DiBiase Jr. would bring back a fan-favorite belt and bring back the $1,000,000 title.
The $1,000,000 Championship was more of a prop than an actual championship. But the people that held it, holy cow, what a list. Of course, your most recent one, LA Knight. Then you also had the $1 Million Man, of course, that created the belt. Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then, of course, Ted DiBiase Jr. Crazy how many people held that belt. But it was also a way for them to get over. I feel like, unfortunately for Jr., he didn't get that rub that his father got with that belt.
After being released from the WWE, Ted DiBiase Jr. would work the independent scene until the year 2015, where he would retire. From there, we didn't hear much from the DiBiase family until the year 2022. We find out that the $1 Million family would be in trouble for money fraud, taking money away from charitable organizations. One of our own here at the All Elite Zone podcast has had his life affected by the actions of the $1 Million family.
So it's pretty ironic that I'm going to be tied into this dark side of the All Elite Zone. But my time with this, WWE did a Where Are They Now? Well, if you guys want to check it out, Where Are They Now? And I did Ted DiBiase Jr. He was doing a lot of stuff with kids, like kids with learning disabilities, or kids with a disability, whether it's an amputation or leg or like a physical disability. Well, he did a lot of stuff like that. Him and his dad too. They did wrestling shows for the kids, and I believe there was a Make-A-Wish one time. John Cena came by, and all this is in Mississippi, and I live in Mississippi. I used to work with somewhere called Ability Works. They would do they would help people with disabilities and jobs and stuff. Well, Ted DiBiase and his father was they were something to do with that, but they took a lot of money from the state of Mississippi. Not just the Ability Works part, but it was a lot of other stuff. They took a lot of money from, and it wasn't just a little money; it was millions of dollars that they took from families, from rehabilitation places like Ability Works. What I'm talking about. But yeah, he could face 25 years up in the prison. I don't know how Ted DiBiase is tied into this, but Ted DiBiase Jr. is really tied into a lot of this, a lot of fraud stuff and money, and it's kind of ironic that they're in with this because their gimmick in wrestling is about money. But yeah, that's how I'm tied in with all this.
Some things in life cost a little, and some things in life cost a lot. But
they took a lot of money from the state of Mississippi. Not just the Ability Works part, but it was a lot of other stuff. They took a lot of money from, and it wasn't just a little money; it was millions of dollars that they took from these, from rehabilitation places like Ability Works. What I'm talking about. But yeah, he could face 25 years up in the prison. I don't know how Ted DiBiase is tied into this, but Ted DiBiase Jr. is really tied into a lot of this, a lot of fraud stuff and money, and it's kind of ironic that they're in with this because their gimmick in wrestling is about money. But yeah, that's how I'm tied in with all this. I'm mute.
Sorry about that. Welcome, everybody, to Talking Elite. I hope you guys are ready to talk everything about the DiBiase family. It's going to be a very fun episode. Connor, great job on the intro again this week. I feel like it's really separated this from our other shows we've done on Talking Elite. So everybody give Connor some love down in the comment section. I did see some people giving him love already, saying that is awesome, that is cool. Of course, Ethan was, commenting the whole time about legacy. Davis teasing that Mr. Jacobs is a Packers fan. So it's a very, very good job, Connor, again, for everything. Like I said, it's gonna be a fun episode tonight. Of course, $1 Million Man. When I think about him, I always think, that evil laugh in his iconic theme song.
Yeah.
So
it's his theme song, isn't it? Like as soon as he comes out, he's got that laugh when he comes out.
Yeah, I feel like he should be up there when we talk about some of the wrestling greats like Hogan and Andre and Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior, when you go back to those classic days, they really needed a villain. And really looking at it, Ted DiBiase was probably one of the best villains they had in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I know. He introduced The Undertaker into the WWE storyline-wise. He did. Wasn't he? He beat Hulk Hogan during that time. I believe that's what they set up for. So for someone like Hogan, that was their villain. You know, they had Randy Savage was always a face during that time. When you think about heels, he was the main heel. He has on what is it, the Money Incorporated with Virgil and
Yep, had Virgil.
No, Virgil was in the group. I don't know who else, but him and Virgil ended up having a few matches against each other too for the his created title, which we'll get into probably later on.
Of course, yeah, it's on there for sure. So before we get a huge deep dive into everything, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. If you guys are in the live chat below, make sure you guys leave your favorite Ted DiBiase and Ted DiBiase Jr. Moments throughout the show, and we'll share them here on the podcast as well. For those of you guys that are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, and share with your friends, as this is our second episode in the series out of 5. So it's been a lot of fun so far. First episode last week was Sunny, and I feel like that was probably one of our best episodes. Going back to that episode, what do you think about the feedback we've gotten on that, Connor? Do you think it's been one of our most positive episodes we've had on the channel?
Yeah, I like the the intro wasn't. Well, I ended up. You guys can go back if anyone hasn't seen it. You can go see the full extended intro of it. But I thought last week was really good. We've got a pretty good response from the first episode. A lot of stuff I didn't know about Sunny that I found out. So if anyone's watching, you could probably learn a few things about Sunny, good and bad, I guess.
It was a good episode. There was a lot I didn't know about her either until researching the episode. Because Dark Side of the Ring did a good job of explaining some of the things that happened with her and Chris, but I feel like they didn't do as much of a deep dive like we did. And I feel like we kind of helped close that story that you've seen on TV. Even though we're not affiliated with Dark Side of the Ring, of course. But man, it was such a good episode. I left last week like, man, this is a great start for the series. So we appreciate everybody coming out. One piece of business before we get going. I want to say thank you to Adam. Unfortunately, Adam, for the next foreseeable future, or definitely, we're not sure, but unfortunately, Adam has stepped away from the podcast for a little bit or forever. We're not sure. But Adam, if you're listening, we thank you for making Talking Elite amazing. You always have an open spot here on the show. So if you guys are friends with Adam, or follow him on Twitter, give him love, give him some support, because Adam was a huge part of making this show great. So shout out to Adam. Hope you're doing well. All right, Connor. Well, it's me and the producer tonight. So you got the two craziest minds on the All Elite Zone talking about the $1 Million Man. So before we get started, I got a fun fact for you, Connor.
What's that?
Did you know that Ted DiBiase came into the WWE as a babyface and didn't know what his character was going to be for that first house show circuit that he did before he went on TV?
I did not know that. I know he came in very, very early. You wouldn't be able to recognize him probably. No, I didn't know that part.
Yeah. So I think it was like right before he got his $1 Million Man gimmick.
Yeah.
So he basically, Vince McMahon wanted to keep it a secret. And then the only thing that he told Ted DiBiase is that you're going to be me if I was a wrestler. And then he becomes the $1 Million Man, making his debut in 1987. Do you know who his first feud was against, Connor?
Ooh. In WWE.
In WWE, his first
I'm
big.
gonna go. It'd be two people. Hulk Hogan.
Yep, got it.
Hulk Hogan.
Yep. So, So he would feud with Hogan, and he would actually, before the matches actually started, he would actually try to buy the WWF Championship.
Wow.
It's funny, like how many times has he tried to do that with, if you look back on Not just the main title, the $1 million title, but the 24/7 championship. Really, nobody sold him the main belt. That's really the only time he failed.
He got the off-brand belts. Like it wasn't even affiliated with. That's why he had to create his own belt.
Right. And then you know who he would team up with to defeat the Hulkster after 4 years of holding the title?
It wasn't Virgil, or
Nope.
was it?
Nope.
Undertaker.
So he would manage Andre the Giant, and Andre the Giant would defeat his WWF title reign after 4 years. So he may not have been able to buy the title, but he still got the last laugh.
Yeah, I forgot Andre. Yeah, he did. He used to have a whole faction of that.
Very true. It's crazy to see like looking at his his $1 million corporation and just seeing him bringing in the Undertaker. That was a huge step in Mark Calloway's career. But really, I feel like that whole like Survivor Series match was one of the biggest moments in professional wrestling, just because he helped kick off one of the greatest characters in wrestling.
I can still hear it from Death Valley. Like that character today would not get over like it did back then. But it was a mystery opponent. That's who it was from. It was supposed to be someone else. I believe they got injured, kayfabe injury, or Roy got injured. But every time they play a Undertaker tribute, that's what you hear in the beginning. You'll hear Ted DiBiase's voice.
And it's crazy to think that that Ted DiBiase was the reason we had we had one of the biggest superstars. Have him be that first vocal point in every Undertaker documentary. I feel like he needs more. I feel like Ted DiBiase, no matter, I know we're gonna get to this terrible stuff towards the end of the video, but I feel like Ted DiBiase, man, there's a lot of people that he put over. And if you think about it too, like he wasn't focused on winning championships. Ted DiBiase, he wanted that character arc. He wanted the stories. He was very dedicated to his character.
Yeah, he had one of the best characters in the Golden Era. You had a lot of characters, like not a lot that matched up to $1 Million Man, to DiBiase, but you had Kamala. You had there's a lot of people that had a weird.
You had Yokozuna, Andre, Hogan, Macho, Warrior. Of course, you also had the Bushwhackers. You had Hot Rod. Like there was a lot of characters, but when you think about it, like he was one of the most standout wrestlers of that era. Because think about it, all the best action figures were during that time frame, from Hasbro to the Bendies. They were all the better figures were of the $1 Million Man. Always in that suit. Yeah, I think he had a Hasbro that wasn't in a suit, but when I think figures from that time frame as well, I always see him in that suit. I feel like
black and gold,
that black and gold suit. And what's crazy too, if you go look at how he was brought in, Vince literally gave him a huge pay just so he could live that extraordinary lifestyle. Like Vince told him, hey, every time you go to a restaurant, you gotta tip like 100%. He had private jets, or when he wasn't on a private jet, he was flown first class. Like he lived his gimmick. And for Vince to give him that much money just to play with and be his character, you don't see that in wrestling nowadays. Or I feel like he was really the only case where he literally lived his character.
The only person that does that today is MJF. Like he legit does his own character, but a lot of guys during that time. I listened to $1 Million Man tell a story one time where he was betting against a kid after the show was over. He bet against a kid, and it was like a rock paper scissors, and Hulk Hogan witnessed it because it was during the main event, and then the kid actually won. So he literally gave the kid $200.
Since we're actually that's actually a really good tie-in to my next talking point. So Connor doesn't really know the flow of the talking points we're discussing tonight. It's always a surprise. It's always a fun part. But know that he paid a young RVD during the time frame when he was paying fans to do like the dumbest task. He paid RVD to kiss his boots.
Hey, yeah, I think I heard about this. Yeah, yeah.
I heard about this today because I was listening to a documentary on him at work. I'm just sitting there like laughing. I'm like, I had no idea that he did with RVD. I knew he was going around and paying fans. And I was watching some of the clips about like I watched the rock paper scissors clip earlier, and I'm like, I can't believe that he did this. And for him to like I said, MJF literally took a page. I know we're not really talking about AEW tonight, but he literally took a page out of that playbook, and he like I said, there's a lot you can learn from the heels of professional wrestling, and just seeing how like the correlation between what MJF has done and some of that not Macho Man, but $1 Million Man kind of helped get make part of his character and shtick. It's great to see.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase. Nowadays, it's something that they give you fake, like they'll give you money but be fake. It'll have their picture on it, and then just give it. It wouldn't be real. But back then, it was actually real money. Like he was actually giving people real money away. I wish I could have lived in that time period, so I could have saved it and get him to sign it one day.
Oh, that'd be cool. I think I've seen a couple like on eBay when I was looking for some $1 Million Man figures, and I was looking at eBay. They still have signed dollar bills for the $1 Million Man and signed 10s, 20s. I haven't seen a 50, but I have seen 10s and 20s.
Like imagine going to a store and you get they give you change and that's what you see.
No way. Like probably all those are probably in basements and like grandmas and other families' house. Like there's no way like those.
I wouldn't spend it if I had something
unless you were like unless you were like really down on your luck.
I would, unless I wouldn't sell it ever. Or if I did, I would be passing it down to someone in my family.
That would be a really cool like thing to have in a collection for sure. Do you know like he won King of the Ring? Do you know that?
Yeah, I did.
He was a King of the Ring winner, and then he would go up against Macho Man for the title at WrestleMania after a tournament. Just because I can't remember what happened. Do you remember? I wish I don't remember what happened, but do you remember what happened with the title thing with after that? Do you think it was did someone get hurt, or was it just did he get the title taken away? Like what happened? You remember?
Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
Did he ever win the world title?
I think he won it, but I think they took it away. So I don't think it officially counted, or there was some like shenanigans.
So I don't remember him.
Let's see.
I
can't remember if he won it, or if if there was something with the world title, and that's why him and Macho Man went through a tournament just to get crowned the world championship or one of the manias. Can't remember. I do apologize, everyone, that's listening.
If anyone knows in the comments here, tell us. I never knew he won the world title. He did win the Intercontinental, I believe.
Yeah, I knew he won the Intercontinental. Maybe he didn't win the. No, he didn't win the world title because I think I can't remember what happened, but the title was vacated, and then he went up against Macho Man and lost in the finals of a tournament.
Yeah,
that's what happened. So he never actually officially won. He tried buying it, of course, but yeah. So he won King of the Ring, and then, of course, what he's really known for is that $1 million title.
Yeah, that's what. Every time you think of the $1 Million Man, you think of the $1 million championship.
That's one I wish I had in my collection. I really wanted to get that belt eventually.
Funny story about this. One day, me and my friend was at Comic-Con, and he was there. And I used to have a Money to Bank briefcase. My friend was so stupid. I told him not to do it. But he went up to him and said that he liked to cash in his Money in the Bank for his, and like he actually tried to take his title. and then Ted DiBiase get that. I won't repeat to get the F away from me.
So your friend was
anyone,
being pretty much a mark, wasn't he?
he didn't even know who he was until he doesn't even watch wrestling. He only knew him because we played the video game. That's how I knew him.
Really?
He didn't even know who the $1 Million Man was until. But if you meet $1 Million Man, do not try to cash in your Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yep, I will take that noted. Because I have the briefcase. I'm not gonna go cash in.
I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
but
of course, Virgil would be the one to defeat him for that first title, for that first for someone that's not, he'd be the first person to win the title. Of course, you also have the Ringmaster, Stone Cold Steve Austin was also another holder of the title.
He still had a little bit of hair when he won it.
I feel like it's a little more. I feel like they've had less title holders in the FTW Championship, where it's pretty close.
FTW might have a little bit more.
Yeah,
I don't know. Not many people have held the $1 Million Championship.
Yeah, and then you had LA Knight was the last person to win it.
I believe Cameron Grimes won it one time. He got LA Knight beat for it. Ted DiBiase Jr. never lost it, I don't think.
Yeah, because it was after. I can't remember when he lost it, but he never lost it because it was basically when I was looking up the title reigns of it. It basically said it was disbanded, so he never lost it. So Ted DiBiase Jr. is still your $1 Million champion.
I think they did away with it again. It was on NXT. That's when they.
No, it was maybe a brief stunt, but I have not seen it since LA Knight won it.
Maybe they could bring it over to AEW and defend it. I wonder if they got
probably
that.
Not.
They probably got that trademarked.
Oh, it's got to be trademarked. If, like I said, if not, the $1 Million Man was a genius, not making sure they had that trademark.
Because they sold the replica title belts of that. So, but that's one of the coolest titles. It's so out of the ordinary kind of title you'd ever see.
True, very true. So after that, he would leave WWE and go to WCW. And like everybody during that time frame, he would join up with the NWO because NWO is for life. And
I can see it.
It was just not a good WCW was not a good era for the $1 Million Man at all.
He fits that vibe, I guess, with Hall and Nash, and they control everything. So he controls everything with money. So, but
he was the financial backer for the NWO.
The financial backer.
He was the financial backer.
So when they had those commercials, like it should have been brought to you by Ted DiBiase NWO.
Ted DiBiase NWO. And then after that, he would kind of fizzle out because I think when Eric Bischoff joined the NWO, he kind of fizzled off and then went to become a backstage producer.
Yeah, he once he didn't really have much of a wrestling role in WCW, really.
Very true. If you look at it though, because right before he left WWE, he broke his neck.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's a reason why he basically stopped wrestling, was just a manager for Stone Cold, and then left. He, like I said, he broke his neck and had to basically retire, but he never retired fully from the business. It's just crazy to look at it, where he would, like I said, he would be in the NWO, but when you think NWO, I don't think $1 Million Man. I don't think Ted DiBiase. No. So after that, he would have some independent bookings throughout the years, some on-offs with WWE, be producing, be a backstage hand, be an ambassador, pretty much. And then in 2010, he would get his Hall of Fame introduction.
Yep, he not to Nosby actually has two sons. Ted DiBiase. Yeah. He wrestled for a little bit as well, but I don't know what happened with that, why he didn't make it. Because that'd have been a good tag team. I
couldn't find anywhere why Brett never made it.
I know he wrestled a little bit, but he never he didn't come close to making it really.
Yeah.
But the Hall of Fame ceremony, that's both of his sons were there.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, it's time for my last fun fact. So, after he retired from professional wrestling, do you know that he is a licensed minister?
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I met him a few times, and when he signs autographs, he'll put a Bible scripture on every autograph he signs.
Really?
Yeah, lots of wrestlers will just write the Bible scripture for you to go look at it, but he actually writes the whole thing. Like the whole scripture, he'll write.
Well,
Because I know Tully Blanchard does the same thing, but he'll just write the Bible verse. But Ted DiBiase writes the whole word by word.
a whole
on his
word
autograph.
for word,
Yeah.
which probably is why he's suspected in his crime and Ted DiBiase Jr.'s crime. So
Yeah.
we'll be like I said. So yeah, so we're gonna get to that here in due time. We're gonna go to the comment section before we go to the part 2 of the episode. So Ethan puts where the big boys play. Heck yeah, WCW. You know that, like I said, another plug real quick. If you haven't already, go check our WCW episode, the fall of WCW.
Yeah.
That was a really good one. Ethan also says he was a preacher. It's crazy to think one of the most wicked men in wrestling and the biggest greed is a preacher. It's kind of funny. I'm curious if he still is, or since the allegations came out last year.
I know his son was a Christian, or I guess he still is. I don't know. It makes you wonder. I don't know. A lot of stuff they do is pretty bad.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk Ted DiBiase Jr. So, after he signed with FCW in 2007, he would work his way up in 2008 and make his debut alongside the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. They would basically form a tag team and win tag team gold in 2009.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think, looking at the caliber of the two of the biggest, I think names in the 1980s, Dusty Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, and having their sons come in, and the careers that, at least the career that Cody had, was phenomenal, and just to see where all the stuff that he's done. But I feel like Ted DiBiase Jr. never really filled his dad's shoes, or I think he was just trying too hard to fill those shoes.
Yeah, at the time they had after the Legacy storyline, they really he did his own little thing with the $1 Million Championship a little bit, but after that fizzled out, and they really didn't build on anything because they had a lot of other young guys coming up.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see. Like, there wasn't a whole lot I could find on his career.
I wish he would have went to TNA a little bit and maybe had a better run. But I don't know what he did after. He just quit wrestling after that. Really,
Basically, he did some independent bookings, but then he basically retired in 2015.
Yeah, after his WWE stuff, he really didn't make it on another company or anything like that.
At least he wasn't as like an embarrassment like Curtis Axel was.
Curtis Axel, yeah,
or Michael McGillicuddy is that because I feel like at least he was able to still be himself and be like carry on his dad's name. Because if you think about it, look at all the second and third generation superstars. If you're not a Rhodes, an Orton, or a Flair, pretty much they changed their name.
Yeah, they didn't really do Curtis Axel. He won the Intercontinental, the same title as his dad won, and the exact same design. But after that, they just treated him as a jobber. He was in the he was mostly like a jobber. Him and his next big thing was him and Ballas, the B team, the Miz.
Yeah.
But they didn't really give him singles. As he said, unless you're a Flair, unless you're a top tier family member, you weren't used good at all. Now it's the Samoans now. Well, not really. If you're Roman Reigns, you'll get a push. But if you're not Roman Reigns, then I guess. But
Very true. But looking at it, I feel like his dad must have had some kind of pull backstage for him to keep his name.
Who
Because if you think about it,
Ted
that
DiBiase?
class that came up with Cody, think about it. Everybody else changed their name except for Rhodes and DiBiase.
Yeah, I bet Dusty Rhodes had some say into that. I know he came back to WWE a little bit when he was there.
True. And you also can't forget too that his dad literally handed him the belt. And then
Ted-
I saw
yeah.
there was another thing too. They actually tried reinstating it one more time. I believe it was from Raw. It was like right before he got hurt with his shoulder injury. It was like right after that Legacy storyline, of course. But he would basically his dad would say, "Hey, here's your belt back. You never lost it." And then he would basically turn to his dad saying, "I am doing my own career. I'm going my own way."
He should have taken the belt. Now looking back, he maybe should have.
Well, the thing is, he did. Like I think he had the same amount of time his dad had with the reign. I think he's at the second.
Yeah.
They both had over 200 days, consecutively. But if you think about it, I feel like he was always playing second fiddle. I know he had a huge feud with Randy Orton. He also helped Randy Orton in his feud with John Cena, but after that, it just kind of fizzled out a little bit for him, But
that's the thing with a lot of second generation, third generation. You got to be a Flair, or you have to be there's no more Hogans. If there was another Hogan, golly, they'd be pushed to the moon.
Well, not even Flair, because look at David Flair. David Flair was probably one of the biggest flops in generational superstar history. At least with Bo Dallas, he had some kind of TV fame.
Wow. So I was looking at the WWE, the $1 Million Championship. The $1 Million Man had it for 905 days.
Only. While
his Ted DiBiase Jr. held it for 224, but he never lost it. So technically,
he's still undefeated.
He probably bypassed his dad by now. He's probably past Roman Reigns' reign.
It's
talking about the real tribal chief.
The real tribal chief. Stand up for your $1 million tribal chief. Here.
Hey, we were all rigged these past few years. Roman Reigns is not our tribal chief. We should go talk to the elders about that.
And it's kind of funny too, because think about it, there was not many AEW stars that made the top 10 this year on the 500 PWI 500 chart. And
yeah,
I'm like, dude, MJF had a way better year than Roman Reigns.
I believe the only two was Moxley and Orange Cassidy, I believe.
MJF did. So it was MJF, Cassidy. Yeah. So, but then there was like everybody else. There was like nobody from New Japan this year on it. Oh, actually, no. No, yeah, because Will Ospreay didn't make it and Kenny will make it. Well, I knew Kenny wasn't going to make it because he didn't have a lot of single matches, but Will Ospreay should have made it.
Yeah, he recently just beat Jericho, Omega, and caught a 2-month span. Yeah. So that makes up for the entire year, I feel like.
And had one of the best matches in Tokyo Dome history. So
yeah.
Sorry, little tangent there, but yeah, we might need to do like a whole episode on dirt sheets in the PWI chart eventually.
Yeah. Dave Meltzer's face right in front of the sun.
Right. But Ted DiBiase, he had, Junior had a few good moments in it. He had legacy career, had a couple good feuds, but unfortunately he just couldn't cut it. So fortunately, after a shoulder surgery, he would get released from WWE, where he would work the independent scene until 2015. And that's when he would retire.
As I mentioned in my intro, I would play it here, but I know it would get copyrighted. But go to the WWE, then where did I say? Where are they now? Put in Ted DiBiase. You'll see everything I'm talking about. He helped out with a lot of stuff after his wrestling career. It explains what he did after his wrestling career. So if you want more in depth, I'll definitely recommend going and watching that.
Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit? Go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about after he retired? Why don't you talk about like kind of what his stuff he did outside the ring was and how we thought how impactful it was?
Yeah, I don't really know when he started it, but I'm gonna assume it would probably have to be in 2018, maybe 2016. He started. Uh, he actually lives in Jackson, Mississippi, 3 hours from where I am. I believe around there they had a. I guess it was a thing called Ability Works. There's one nearby where I am, but there's different stuff that he did. He did a lot of stuff for awareness for kids, for families, for kids with like kids with leukemia or all kinds of stuff like that. He did, and he was the main one that did a lot of stuff. Like he would put on like an actual wrestling show just for the kids, like an actual wrestling ring and just kids watching. Uh, there was a Make a Wish. John Cena came to Mississippi and he did Make a Wish. There was a lot of stuff that he did. Uh, I I actually thought he was a pretty good person. Well, I wouldn't say he's not a good, still a good person, but just the way it all ended makes you wonder if he actually really cared about the people he was helping, or did he just care about the money? Because it was millions and millions of dollars he took from the state of Mississippi. He took a lot of money from families, from kids, from a lot of people who probably would have needed that money more than him. Uh,
It's very sad, like just because I've watched that documentary, and I'm
yeah,
like, I'm not the most, I'm not, I'm not a big religious guy, but I'm like, man, like this is awesome to see somebody do stuff for their church and causes that they believe in. It was awesome. Like it seriously was. I'm like, okay, he is literally, he's a very humble guy, at least what we thought. But unfortunately, last year, that's when things came out that he was take him. It was him. So right now it's mostly Ted DiBiase Jr. But right
yeah,
now they're also at the time of recording because it's been a huge lawsuit. It's been on for almost a year. But now they are looking into not just basically just because they're with their religious organization, they're looking out at Ted DiBiase Senior, Junior, and brother Brett. They are looking into them as we currently speak, and so it's so crazy to me that for one, people that hold themselves, they're helping people and helping people in their community, and then have them, shown where, oh my gosh, they're embezzling money, they're scamming organizations that help kids with disabilities or helping families in their church. I'm like,
yeah.
I get it was a character for them, but what made them fall so hard from grace?
Yeah. If I had to imagine Ted DiBiase's, because I believe he may have had a church that helped out with stuff like that. Uh, I don't know his brother's involvement, but uh, they're being looked into. I'm thinking that he has to pay a whole like they're going to have to pay all that money back. So I've seen Ted DiBiase at a lot of Comic Cons and stuff trying to overprice his stuff to pay back to the state of Mississippi, but now it's just like there's people like I wouldn't go up and meet him for what he did. I mean, that doesn't mean they can't change as a person, but it doesn't look good. Like, was their intentions even like did they even care about the people, or did they just care about the dollar signs?
Well, like I said, maybe they just got used to living such a big lifestyle that
Yeah,
this could happen. Like everybody's got a price, but
yeah, everybody's got a
Mike,
price tag.
everybody's got a price. But the thing is, like I said, time of recording, like I said, so it's going through the court system right now. It's such a big ordeal. Like 2022 was not a good year for wrestling. Like for it was a good year for wrestling, but think about it. Look at how everything happened with Sonny, and then now look at what's going on with the DiBiase family. Like, is it the whole DiBiase family, or is it just Ted DiBiase Jr.? Because I've seen reports, I couldn't find like a 100% concrete article. All I've seen was Ted DiBiase Jr. They originally suspected of it, and then now they're looking at both his brother and his father.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. Like, I definitely recommend going to watch that because we're explaining it, but if you're interested in the whole deep story, you'll see what all he did. he helped a lot of teenagers too, and a lot of stuff. And I believe after a lot of, I think this happened. I think they called him in 2019, 20, but it really didn't go into effect till this year. Like things actually starting to happen because he got arrested, but he got out on bail bond, I believe.
It's sad. It really is. Like, and I get there's always issues with, especially like the mega churches or organizations with people taking money, but you never thought somebody that you thought was so humble would take away from such a noble organization.
Yeah, he definitely seemed like he was really high on helping people. I think he has a daughter or a son, has a few kids. I believe he got divorced after a lot of stuff happened. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he did. But he seemed like a very great person. Like he was helping all these people in Mississippi and doing all this stuff, and then just to see that he took all the money. It's really sad ending to a story.
Mr. Jacobs, thank you so much for watching. Everybody give Mr. Jacobs some love down in the comment section. He's enjoying the episode as well, but Mr. Jacobs mentions the $1 Million Man was right all along. Everybody's got a price, and Vince's price is $9 million. $9 billion. You know,
Ted DiBiase, Ted DiBiase says anyone can be bought, but he can be bought too, because isn't the $1 Billion Man more than the $1 Million Man? Hey, that needs to be a character. Someone needs to come up with the $1 Billion Man.
The $1 Billion Man. There you go, Vince. We're giving you a free idea. I bet he'd just randomly just stumble across this podcast because he only sleeps 1 hour a day, right? He'd be like, "Oh, the $1 Billion Man. Oh, you know what? I could tell the UFC. I could do it. It could be good shit. Be good.
I wouldn't trust anything that he does."
Very true. You know, and I'm going to announce it now, Mr. Jacobs. Thank you for the plug. So we got a fun couple shows announced, and I'm going to announce our finale because I know we're still like 3 episodes away. I'll announce that here in a second. Thank you guys, everybody, for coming out for the $1 Million Man episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It was a lot of fun tonight. Thank you, of course, to Connor. It's always a blast having AEW's producer on the show with me. It's a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a good one. I probably won't be involved in any other ones. Fortunately, I won't be. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But the next one, no, I'm really excited for. But these first 2 have been really, really good. We appreciate everyone that's stopped by and commented, or even if you're not commenting, watching, we definitely appreciate everyone.
Yeah. Ron, thank you so much for watching. Jason, always a pleasure to see you as well. So next week, we are having a very fun episode. And this one, we're going to try to have multiple people on here just so that way it's going to be a huge conversation. But next week, we're going to talk the dark side of the Attitude Era. So we'll bring up Brawl for All. We'll bring up, the scandals behind the scenes. We'll probably go back, of course, a little bit to Sunny. And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be another fun episode. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that one. And then, of course, the genius himself, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. You've heard it here first, folks, on episode 2. Vince McMahon will be our season finale as we discuss his career and a lot of the stuff that he did, from the steroid trials to his relations with that lawyer last year. So it's going to be a very fun week. It's going to be a fun few weeks for sure.
So we're doing 5 episodes, right?
5 episodes, yep. Episode 4, I'll announce next week's episode.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for episode 4 as well. But the finale is going to be a banger. Next week's going to be a banger. So thank you guys so much for coming out. Hope you guys are having a great time with our series. I know this one wasn't as long as last week's, but I still feel like we did a good job of getting everything across. So, of course, thank you again to Connor for coming out and helping out with the show. we have a couple interviews coming up. So, Connor, do you want to tell about the guest we're having here shortly?
Yeah, the week of Chris's birthday. Everyone, you should already know Chris's birthday is that weekend.
I had no idea.
We all knew about it last night. So just to make sure everyone knew that his birthday is this weekend, October 4th, we will have former WWE star and former TNA star, The Pope. He was also known as Elijah Burke in WWE. He will be on here October 4th, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, an hour before Dynamite. So if you guys like to ask some questions, you're free to put it in the chat and we'll show them. Or if you're interested in watching, we'll definitely appreciate it any way you see fit. But that's the only interview we have right now. But there will be a few interviews on the AZ Canada up north. They're going to have a few Canadian independent wrestlers down there.
Oh, cool.
They're going to have on. So they will be announced. Stay tuned to our Twitter and Facebook. That's where you'll see a lot of our guest announcements.
Awesome, bro. I cannot wait to see what our AZ Canada team does. Make sure you guys check out their podcast. Thank you, of course, to Dusty for doing the intro, helping do the intro tonight.
Yeah.
It was really good. I don't know if that was your son, but it was really cute, really great. So we appreciate everybody on the Canada team. Their episodes drop every Saturday, so cannot wait to see this week's episode. They had some bangers. If you like Talking Elite, go watch our Up North crew. They do some great work. Next week's episode, unfortunately, will be pre-recorded as I have a class at the fire station. I'm going to be part of that night. So it'll be pre-recorded, but I will be in the comment section below for sure, commenting on the episode as it drops. So make sure you guys stay tuned for our social medias for that as well. And of course, make sure you guys hit the bell down below so you guys get notified on all of our awesome content. We'll also have, of course, our watch along coming back tomorrow night for Rampage as we see Jade take on Chris Statlander. And fortunately, I already know the outcome to that, but it's still going to be a fun match to watch. So make sure you guys come out for Rampage. Of course, Dynamite, our last show last night was amazing. So come back out, join our live reactions, comment down below on topics. We'll talk the whole night. It's a lot of fun. So we appreciate everything you guys do. Check us out on Spotify, Podbeam, Facebook, X, which is, I still call it Twitter because I feel like Elon has a D-Generation X fetish. So it's gonna be, like I said, it's got a lot of fun content coming up. So Connor, anything else you want to add before I sign off?
No, that's pretty much it. I will address Jason's comment, Adam. Adam is always welcome on the podcast. There's no hard feelings. We hope that he's doing well. I just wanted to comment that before we don't have a zillion questions about that. But there's no heat with anyone. I know people like to say that. Me and Lane have heat, but I can promise you, no one has heat with each other. It's all a mutual thing. Who knows? Maybe Adam will come back in the future, but for right now, we're gonna respect his time off. But yeah, as Lane said, he's always welcome on the Talking Elite and the All Elite Zone. He's a big reason for this series that we're doing right now.
He's the one that came up with it. So we thank him for everything he's done. He has taken some mental health time. So, we'll hopefully he comes back on. If not, he's still our friend. He's still a great guy. So no hard feelings. There's no drama, no beef between us. Just a lovely guy. And it was kind of it didn't hurt or anything, but man, I'm going to miss him. And hopefully one day he'll come back on. So go give him some. Yeah, everybody needs to recharge. So Adam, if you're listening, man, we love you. And these words are just for you, going out to Adam tonight. And good night.